Kenyan police officers resorted to firing tear gas on protesters today in the capital Nairobi, the port city of Mombasa and several other towns as thousands defied a police ban and joined demonstrations called for by opposition leader Raila Odinga against a series of tax hikes. Yesterday, the head of the National Police Force had banned demonstrations called by the opposition on the grounds that the latter had not informed the authorities. Last week too, police had to fire tear gas at protesters in Kenya's capital Nairobi and other parts of the country to break up demonstrations called by the opposition against newly imposed taxes by the government of President William Ruto. The protests had completely paralyzed streets in Nairobi and other major cities and had started to hurt the country's already fragile economy. Same as the last time, this time as well, the opposition leader Raila Odinga's Azimio alliance had called for the demonstrations to protest a new law that saw new or increased taxes on fuel and food and had introduced a housing levy for taxpayers. In fact, his Azimio alliance had vowed to stage protests every week against the policies of President William Ruto's government. Kenyans are struggling with a biting cost of living crisis, and the cost of food and other basic commodities have skyrocketed. Food prices have seen an almost 16% increase in just a single year. The country is also going through an intense cash crisis. It does not have enough money to pay workers in its public sectors and elsewhere. The finance bill signed into law by Ruto last month is expected to generate over $2.1 billion for the government, but it has also led to new taxes and increases on basic goods including fuel, food and mobile money transfers. At the beginning of July, President Ruto had promulgated a finance bill introducing a series of new taxes despite criticism from opposition and the population of a country that is already hit by high inflation. In particular, the law provided for an increase in VAT on fuel from 8% to 16%, as well as an unpopular levy on salaries to finance a low-cost housing program. Initially planned at 3%, it was reduced to 1.5%, but it still had the ability to burn hole in pockets of the cash-starved Kenyans. Although the government argues that these measures will create jobs and reduce public borrowing, but the opposition groups assert that the tax hikes will only exacerbate the hardships faced by Kenyans who are already struggling with the soaring prices of basic commodities.
Subscribe to Oneindia channel and never miss an update.